Building lean muscle mass. It is a job. It is a very slow moving success story. And I have all the information, all the stats pulled up to really shed light on how very difficult and time consuming muscle building is. And by time consuming, it doesn't mean you have to spend 1 to 2 hours a day in the gym. It just means you have to be patient in this process. Let me know if you're willing to share in the comments how long it has taken you to build your body. And I work with women every day. I've been working with women for almost 24 years. And it's interesting because the people who are newer to the game, they don't realize how very long. They're saying, my body hasn't changed in a month's time. When am I going to start building muscle? And they are slowly, but I also want to shed light on what it really takes. So if you are still doing your workouts, your resistance training workouts, and you are able to get through every set and you're like, man, got through it, felt strong, and you're not struggling, you are not going to achieve your muscle gain goals in nearly as fast of a manner as if you are pushing it, you're fatiguing your muscle, you're feeling the shakes, you're not being able to finish a set because you bumped up your weight. That is all, like the failure part of it, the burning part of it, the fatigue part of it. That is absolutely crucial to experience every workout. And I'm not saying you got to be beat red in the face. I'm not talking about HIIT training. I'm not talking about huffing and puffing, like out of breath. I'm talking taxing your muscles to where you're lifting heavy. If you want to build, you need to be going for the gusto when it comes to choosing your weights, okay? And I'm not saying we got to do one rep maxes here, but you got to be pushing it. Like, I am trying so hard every single set that I do to bump up the weights, to struggle, to feel the fatigue, to feel the burn, to fail. Like, if my goal is 12, I don't want to hit 12 and feel like that was easy breezy. That is not how I've built my arms, my shoulders, my biceps to where you can visually see the muscle. So that is the first thing I want to point out is the effort you're putting in. You must feel like you're failing at times, and you will fail at times because you're trying to push it to where you're like, oh, I overestimated how much I could lift. I only got 3 or 4 reps, couldn't finish the set. So then I grabbed the weight that was a little bit less, and then I continued, doing the rest of the reps. So we're going to start there with, first of all, challenge yourself. Number 2, are you fueling your body properly? And that's going to look different for every single person. However, you need to be supplying your body with enough fuel, with protein, with some carbs, even if you're living a low carb. I mean, I don't know how the carnivores do it, honestly. And healthy fat. I mean, I'm telling you what, I'm fat heavy on my nutrition plan, okay? And I don't count, measure weight, I don't do any of that, but I do know my top macros, my protein, my fat. Okay, my fat is actually percentage is higher than my protein, and then my carbs are last. That's just what works for me. Okay, so I have these stats pulled up because if you're pushing yourself and you're fueling yourself and you are still like, what gives? I'm sleeping 7 to 8, maybe even 9 hours every night, and I'm doing all the things. Why am I not growing? Why is my body not changing? And let me know in the comments if you feel this is a struggle for you. But again, what is the time frame we are looking at? And then also, in our head, are we comparing our results to someone who has literally just shed 50 pounds from their body, and now you can see their muscles popping through? Because it's a different story if you're looking for, at someone's transformation who had weight to lose, and they did have muscle along with that fat, but they've lost the fat and they were able to do it fast. And then now you see their muscles versus someone who didn't have a lot of fat to lose, who's had good muscle mass, but everything's looked a little soft. So now you're comparing your results to someone who had a significant fat loss. Now their muscles are popping. So you're thinking they've built that muscle in the same amount of time as you have been working, and you're not visually seeing the change. So do you know what I mean? That's why it's not good to compare the two. Okay, but what I do want to bring to everyone's attention who really does not believe me in how slow this process is, I am going to give you the exact numbers for a female who is spot on with her exercise programming. She's doing progressive overload. She's pushing the weight. She's doing everything perfectly. She's eating every bit that she needs to eat. Not too much, not too little. She's hitting her protein, all the things. She's eating clean. She's sleeping 8 to 9 hours per night, and she's managing stress, and she is healthy hormones. Okay. So we're going to do the comparison between the healthy hormonal woman and someone who's doing all the right things that has tanked hormones, meaning very low hormones to no hormones, which usually happens for a lot of women who hit perimenopause into menopause. It just, and that's where I'm at right now. Okay. So this is the healthy woman doing all the things right. The beginner is always going to gain muscle mass much quicker. That's just what it is. Okay. So again, if you've been in this world and you've been lifting for years and years and years, and you're comparing your results to a beginner, it's not a direct comparison because you already have a lot of muscle mass. You've already, had that muscle memory. You've already, gained all of that, the gains, as opposed to someone who's newly in the game. They're going to gain it quicker. That's just what it is. So a beginner is going to gain on average per month 1 to 1.5 pounds, okay, per month if she's doing everything right. An intermediate, so someone who's been doing it 1 to 3 years, is going to be a 0.5 to 1 grams per month of muscle gain. An advanced person who has been doing this more than 3 years, which is most of you, you're going to gain 0.2 to 0.5 grams of muscle per month. So if we're looking annually, we're looking at the entire year, a beginner can gain 10 to 15 pounds. An intermediate can gain 5 to 7 pounds in 1 year. And an advanced person, for me, probably for many of you, 1 to 3 pounds of muscle annually. That is not a lot. That is not a lot. Okay? So that's just if you're doing everything perfectly and your hormones are thriving. I'm sorry. This is like some crazy information. Share it with your friends. Share it with your enemies. I don't know. It's something here. Okay. Now we're looking at the females in perimenopause. Okay. Bless us all. For it's not for the weak, okay? With low estrogen and testosterone, because those are the two. I mean, progesterone, yes, it's all about how you feel, but for building muscle mass, typically your hindering hormones are going to be your estrogen and your testosterone. So a beginner doing everything right, but she has really low hormones. Everything is lower, okay? So I'm actually going to do like a comparison. I think I'm going to make a reel because I think this is really powerful information to really shift the perspective of like, why am I not gaining in a matter of a month's time? Well, it's because of this. So, okay, I'll go back and forth. Okay, so the beginner that has healthy hormones, she's gaining 1 to 1.5 pounds per month. And the tanked hormones, 0.5 to 1 pounds per month. The intermediate, who's doing all the things right with healthy hormones, is gaining 0.5, and I should say they've been at this for 1 to 3 years. They're gaining 0.5 to 1 grams if they have healthy hormones, and they're only gaining 0.2 to 0.5 pounds per month if their hormones are tanked. And then let's go to the majority of you who have been at this for more than 3 years. If your hormones are healthy, you're gaining 0.2 to 0.5 grams per month, and you're only gaining 0.1 to 0.3 pounds of muscle per month, which equates to only 1 to 3 pounds per year compared to, so that's about the same for the advanced, but everything's going low with the other ones. Okay, so it's some interesting information. Okay, so number one, again, are we training with all the oomph we can and getting proper rest? Number two, are we fueling our body correctly with the foods we need, as well as maybe supportive supplementation? It's all relative, right? And then number three is opening our eyes up to the fact that your journey is not going to be comparable to anyone else's journey, especially if you're not really trying to peel off a ton of fat. It's going to look slower than someone who's peeling off the fat and now they're revealing their muscle. And number four is the fact that we need to know hormonally if that is a piece of the puzzle that's hindering us. So hopefully this was helpful. I feel like I needed to know the stats, and I've been trying to put this together for a long time, but yeah, that's something. So anyhow, if you are listening to this and you're like, okay, well, that's all like really devastating, Sarah. Like, this was not motivating at all. Thank you for telling me I'm never going to hit my goals and it's going to take me an eternity to build this dream body of mine. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because you got to keep your eye on the prize. You got to focus on the non-measurable wins. You got to focus on the strength. I did a pull-up today. I've never been able to do that before. I was able to run around the track 20 times without taking a break, and I never did that before. Like, you need to fall in love with the process, with the journey, and detach yourself from the end result. If you constantly focus on the end result and where you are to how far you got to go, you're going to stop that journey every single time you get frustrated. It's going to be really, 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 slow moving, and you may never get to your goal. But if you focus on those little baby steps and all the positive wins, it's going to be a lot of fun and you're going to get there. So anyhow, if any of you want more information on either my programming or my consults that I do offer, let me know. Just put the word info and I can send you more info. But yeah, I think we all need to just kind of keep it real with ourselves about the slowness, the length of time, the amount of time it takes to really, truly gain. And that way, when we set our expectations with the right information, it's not so devastating and it's not so draining every single time we take our pictures or we look in the mirror and it's like, oh my God, why are my muscles not popping after, 4 weeks of doing this workout routine? I mean, we have to give it some time. But again, reminder, people who have been at this, if you're changing your exercise program and you're wondering, why am I not gaining? Even if you're doing all the things correctly, the cream of the crop, like all the people that are just at the tip top shape, that are still pushing it, you're only going to gain on average 1 to 3 pounds of muscle per year. So I'm going to end with that. It's a process.